Hi everyone, and welcome to Media EQ, the show where I talk about things I find interesting, and lucky for you, I'm cool enough to record it. Hey babe, it's time to get over it. Respectfully. Alright besties, for today's video, I want to talk to you all about the art of getting over it. And when I say get over it, I'm talking about anything. Anything that you've been through, you've experienced, anything that you're still holding on to today that impedes you from living the best life that you can. It's time to let it go. It's time to get over it. I don't want this episode to come off as insensitive or as though I'm not being empathetic to how you feel or what you've gone through, but more so, I am ready for all of us to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. I want you to be able to decide today, right now, I'm ready to walk into the dream life that I've envisioned for myself. Whether that be the life that you envisioned as a child or something that you've come up with just recently. It's time for you to live your best life. And despite what you've been through, there's still room for you to have that life. The life that you've envisioned. The life that you know you're supposed to be living. This episode is going to help you get there. I'm going to share with you 4 steps, 4 tangible, actionable steps that you can apply to your life right now that is going to help you in the process of getting over it, letting go of the stuff that doesn't serve you so that you can walk in your most authentic purpose. This episode is for my people who are ready to leave the past behind, step into the future, and be that girl, be that guy in whatever walk of life you choose. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Let's go. The process of getting over it is not to denounce or denote everything that you've been through. The trauma that you've experienced, the past you've experienced, the things that have led you to feel the way you feel today are valid. We want to look at the things that we've been through, recognize what they've meant for us, recognize how they have shaped us to the person that we are today, to the perspective that we have today, and we want to make new meaning of it. It's not about what you've been through, but what does what you've been through mean for your life? Perspective is truly everything. This goes back to our law of attraction episode when I had you think about, having a bad day and waking up with a perspective of like, okay, today is a bad day, and then finding evidence of that day being bad based off of the mindset that you woke up with or the mindset that you carried throughout your day. The same is true for your past. If you have a perspective of like, okay, this was a bad situation and therefore it means bad for my life, it's going to mean bad for your life. You are laying down roots. You are planting those seeds of negativity when associating that memory. But a perspective shift can transform what that situation, what that past experience means for your future. Now, I'm not telling you that like if you've been through something traumatic or negative, that by looking at it in a positive light, it now takes away the bad thing. Absolutely not. And that's why I wanted to add light to the fact that what you've been through, the trauma you've experienced, the past you lived, I'm only asking that you change your perspective of what your experience is going to mean for you later on. Our minds are super powerful. Again, Law of Attraction episode. You need to go back and watch that episode if you haven't. And even if you have watched it, you need to watch it again. Your mind is very powerful. Your mind has the power to create your reality, to create your future, to create your destiny, to change your right now. Being intentional about the way our mind remembers our past is very imperative for our future. Let me give you an example. Let's think about relationships, breakups more specifically. Everybody's favorite thing. I know. Aren't they fun? They're so fun. Okay. A lot of times when we are remembering our past, remembering our connection with a person that ultimately ended in a breakup, a lot of times, especially in the beginning stages, we are more focusing on the hurt, the bad thing. They cheated. We grew apart. It didn't work out. And we are making meaning of the entire relationship exist in the bad thing, in that era of trauma, in the separation. Doesn't that denote the good times? There was a reason you spent as much time with this person as you did. There's a reason that you experienced the happiness that you did. There's a reason that you stayed as long as you did. A lot of times though, existing in the bad thing will make us forget about the good things. And it'll make us feel like nothing that we've ever experienced has been worth it. Love is bad. I always have negativity in relationships. In order to get to that negativity, you walked through the positivity. You see how kind of just a slight shift in perspective can give you fresh eyes to a situation? I absolutely experienced the bad thing. It was not a great breakup, but you're right. There was positivity in order for me to get to this negativity. And honestly, that's why the negativity feels so bad. Because at one point, this felt like everything. So what are you telling me, Mackie Speaks? Me and that person need to get back together? I need to call my ex? Absolutely not. Do not do that. What I'm telling you though is a perspective shift can help your healing process. When we sit in the bad thing and we stew in those feelings of negativity and defeat, it is so much harder for us to heal. Because then we're sitting in this thing that I like to call a victim narrative, and that takes us to part 2 of this episode. We have been victimized, we are not victims. Again, going back to the mindset shift. I have been through something negative. My experience as a whole was not negative. That relationship as a whole was not negative. Just because we broke up, just because we don't talk anymore, do not text your ex. Just because there is distance between the person and I who I believed I was gonna have a longer future with, does not mean that everything we experienced together has been bad. But existing, stewing, sitting in the bad thing will make me feel like that. And if I am constantly sitting in this mindset of I have been hurt, this has happened to me, when will I decide to gather myself, pick myself up, and walk into healing? I won't. I absolutely won't, because I'm existing in a victim mindset. Think about movies that you've seen where, there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. There's a villain that's like terrorizing the town. What do you think of when you think of a victim in those situations? That's a person that needs to be saved. That's a person who's experiencing negativity. That's a person who, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, one of them mans, needs to fly in and save. When you stew in the bad thing, when you sit in the trauma, that's how you're looking. As a person in need of being saved. Now, I'm not telling you that you don't need to be saved. Perhaps you do. Perhaps the situation that you've experienced requires outside perspective. Perhaps in the form of therapy, psychological help, medication, speaking with a friend, praying, going to church, seeking higher divination. Great. That's absolutely okay. And I actually commend you for practicing self-awareness and recognizing that you do need that saving. And with that, I'm still going to challenge you to not sit in victimhood. Those people that exist in those movies that are needing to be saved by the superhero, they are sitting at a place of disadvantage. They are waiting for that savior. You, as a self-aware warrior, are not just knowledgeable about the fact that you need saving, but you are making active steps to access that healing. You are making that call to that therapist. You are letting people know that you need support. Those are actionable steps that are allowing you to walk out of victimhood, and I applaud you for that. For those of us that the healing is more of an internal process, again, I challenge you to walk outside of victimhood. What is it about the way that I am viewing what I've been through that is keeping me stuck? Yeah, I absolutely went through something terrible, and I experienced something that I would have rather not have. But what is that now going to mean for my life? How can I shift my perspective to where this bad thing doesn't have to exist bad for my future? Okay, Mackie Speaks, how do I do that? How do I shift the negativity that I've experienced and make it mean something positive for my future? I am a proponent of asking myself the questions. With my journalistic background, I'm always inquiring to know more. And knowing more helps us walk a further walk. What did I learn from this situation? How will my life now be different because of what I've experienced? How has what I've been through shaped me in a way that I feel I can now protect myself further? Have I learned something that is going to allow me to protect my friends, my family, my children in the future? And how also can I access that safety in a way that does not leave me indebted to what I've been through? Going back to the example of the breakup. Okay, well, maybe what I've learned from my situation is to not be an overgiver. Perhaps now I need to recognize the ways that I extend myself when I'm not being extended to. Great. That's something that'll carry you into your next relationship. That will elevate your experience the next time love comes around. Shifting perspective, changing your mindset does not denote bad things ever coming your way again. I never want you guys to think that flipping a switch is just gonna make your life perfect, because that's just not how life works. In this life, we will have trouble, as I'm sure you've experienced already. I know I'm just preaching to the choir when I say things like that. Instead, this is the way to gain ownership over your life. To decide that I am not what happens to me. I make meaning of what happens to me. Everything that I experience in my life is for my higher purpose. It's a lesson to be learned. It's a new tool for my tool belt. I'm going to be a better person because of what I've been through, because of what I experienced. And again, healing may exist in a way for you that it is external. You do need to be saved. That is okay. But what isn't okay is knowing that you need to be saved and deciding defeat instead. Because I don't do these episodes for the victims. I do it for my self-aware warriors who decide I want more out of life. I am more than what I've experienced. I am more than what the person has done to me. I am more than the bad thing. As long as you have breath in your body, as long as you wake up another day, you got more to do on this earth. Don't waste it. Don't lay down and die just because of what you've been through. Listen, let me let you in on a little secret. We've all been through something. Even me sitting here with this microphone, just, ooh, look at her. She is tea. T. I know, thank you. But I've still been through something. I've been through multiple things. I choose to look at what I've been through and ask myself those questions so that I can learn lessons, so that I can add tools to my tool belt. One day I'm gonna have children and I wanna be a great parent for them. I can't do that if I'm a victim. I can't make my past my child's problem. I can't sit here and make my past my spouse's problem. And again, our past, my past, valid. It did suck. People did hurt me. People did hurt you. Are you gonna live there forever? Okay, so at the beginning of the episode, I did share with you that I have 4 tangible, actionable steps that are gonna help you get over it. And I'm gonna share those with you. But before I do wanna share with you a little bit of theory. You guys know I love a theory over here, and I just think that they make us smarter. And they're great to apply to your life to add perspective to what it is that you're going through. So I do have a theory for us that I think is going to show you why getting over it is so important. And it's not that we're being harsh when we are telling ourselves or other people to get over it. I'm looking out for your best interest right here. I'm looking out for my best interest. You guys know that when I do these episodes that I'm not just like preaching to you, I'm also preaching to myself. Teaching you helps me. So we're all in this together. We all need to get over it. All right? So the theory that I have for you today is called the law of least effort, and it came out in 2010, so it's kind of a newer theory, and it reads, this is the idea that people tend to gravitate toward the path of least resistance. When you let go of something that's emotionally draining or difficult to get over, the act of holding on often requires more effort. To move on, focus on what's easier, like focusing on the future rather than the past, and letting go of anything that emotionally drains you. This is about choosing ease over resistance. I love this theory because it really just adds emphasis to the idea that holding on to something that does not serve you is draining you. If it doesn't serve you, it's draining you. By nature, as human beings, we like to choose the path of least resistance. So that's why holding on to trauma, stewing in the bad thing feels so negative, because our brain is like at a cognitive dissonance place where I don't like being where things are hard or things feel icky and unmoving and stagnant, yet I'm here. We don't like to be at a resistance in our life. So when we are dealing with things that are emotionally hard for us to grapple, our best bet is to let it go. This could be a job that's draining you. This could be a hobby that just no longer serves you. Whatever the case may be, if you find yourself in this path of resistance, it's time to walk away. I'm not here to be a victim. I'm not here to suffer. I'm actually here to walk toward my destiny and my path. And my path is not meant to be resistant. So, okay, bye. Thank your past. It's gotta go. All right, everyone. So I promised you 4 tangible, actionable steps that are gonna help you get over it. Let's get into them. Step number 1, acknowledge what you're feeling. Take some time, check in with yourself, and recognize what you're feeling. Remember, I like us to be self-aware warriors. We can only be self-aware if we are aware of what self is feeling. Your feelings of what you've been through, valid. We can only heal from what we acknowledge. Take some time to sit in those emotions. Don't run from feelings, okay? Emotions are powerful. They're superpowers. Recognizing what you feel is powerful. Sometimes recognizing and acknowledging your emotions might mean that you do that alone. Don't fill space so that you don't feel space. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Amen? Amen. Clock it. Okay. Step number 2, don't be afraid to take some time, to take some space from whatever is keeping you stuck. Maybe you have to distance yourself inevitably, especially if you feel like it's something that's not going to change and you're going to continue to exist in this cycle. Take some space from it. Now, if it's a job that's draining you, I recognize that we can't always take space from things that are providing us income. Perhaps maybe during your off times, you need to be looking for new jobs. Don't let permanency be an excuse to suffer. Be looking for ways to unstick yourself. Take space from the things that are harming you, from the things that are preventing you from healing, from the things that are keeping you in a victimhood. Think of a scab on your leg. Does it heal if you keep poking at it? No, you gotta leave it alone. You gotta give it some space, some distance. You have to let your body do the work. Let your body do the work in healing you. Remove yourself from the irritant. Create space from the things that are keeping you stuck. Step number 3, shift your focus toward what is next. We talked in the beginning about shifting our mindset, changing our perspective, taking the meaning of what we've been through and making it fit for our future. Shift your focus toward what's next. What's next is your future. Don't focus and fixate on the past. Envision yourself walking and healing toward what it is that you want to do next, living that life that was meant for you to live. Your best life. Remember, we talked about in the law of least resistance, we're not meant to focus on the things that drain us. Mentally create your best life and walk toward it. Shift your focus toward what is next. And step number 4, the most important step of them all, be kind to yourself along the way. Healing is not a linear journey. You can take 2 steps forward and 42 steps back. That's okay. It only becomes not okay when you stay back there. Don't lay down and die, but give yourself grace for those moments where you need a little nap, when you need to take a little break. That's okay. And by all means, do not compare your healing journey to other people's journeys. Oh, well, they went through a breakup and they were over it in 2 seconds. That is not your problem. That is not your life. Focus on your life and your healing and do the productive things that are going to get you to your next level, not the counterproductive thing. You might think it feels good to backtrack, to focus on the past because there were moments back there that felt good. Revisiting the past and trying to set up shop there is counterproductive to the overall healing journey that you're needing to take. It might be productive for you to reflect on the past so that you can gather tools for your tool belt that is going to make your future easier to navigate. But don't set up shop there. Remember, the past is the past for a reason. But also remember that your desire to revisit a time that felt familiar and easier does not make you weak. Be kind to yourself on those days where it feels like right now is not worth it. Those times where the thoughts creep up into your brain that the past is the best you'll ever have. Be kind to yourself through those moments. Walk yourself through those moments. Self-care yourself through those moments. You're gonna be okay. You got this. You're a self-aware warrior and you're getting over it. Be kind to yourself. All right, besties, that is going to bring us to the end of today's episode. We are one step closer to getting over it. I'm so proud of us. Our self-awareness is on another level, and that is putting us in a higher percentage than a lot of people in this world. So congratulations. Getting over it is not always easy, but it is possible. Take these steps, apply them to your situation, and get over it. It is time for you to live your best life. And I'm not telling you to get over it because I'm trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to help you. You deserve more. Don't settle for lack and don't live in lack. You're too cute for that. Thank you guys once again for joining me right here on Media EQ, the show where I talk about things I find interesting, and lucky for you, I'm cool enough to record it. I will see you in my next episode. Bye, guys.